told you that two people born on the exact same day can have bodies that are biologically 15 years apart in age? Not because of genetics, not because of luck, but because of daily habits, most of which take less than 10 minutes. Scientists at Harvard, Stanford, and the NIH have now identified the exact switches inside your body that control how fast you age. And here's the wild part. You can flip almost all of them. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the most powerful, research-backed steps to reverse your biological age, organized by category, so you can start today. No expensive treatments, no fluff, just the science, simplified. First, a quick reality check, because this isn't about vanity. Aging isn't just wrinkles. It's the slow breakdown of your cells, your arteries, your brain, and your immune system. And scientists now know this breakdown has a name, the 9 hallmarks of aging, published in the journal Cell in 2013 by a team led by Dr. Carlos Lopez-Otin. These hallmarks include things like telomere shortening, the caps on your DNA that fray like the ends of a shoelace every time a cell divides, mitochondrial dysfunction, cellular senescence, basically zombie cells that hang around causing inflammation, and a slowdown of your body's autophagy, which is your cell's built-in cleaning system. Yoshinari Osumi won the Nobel Prize in 2016 just for explaining how autophagy works. Here's what that means practically. You have 2 ages, your chronological age, the number of candles on your birthday cake, and your biological age, what your body actually functions like. A 2013 study from UCLA developed an epigenetic clock that can measure your biological age from a blood sample. And the gap between the two, that's where your lifestyle lives. So let's talk about how to close that gap. Pillar 1, what you eat. Let's start with food, because nothing you do will matter as much if you're eating in a way that accelerates aging. Step 1, time-restricted eating. You don't need to eat less, you need to eat in a shorter window. A 2018 study in Cell Metabolism found that eating within a 10-hour window, say 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., improved blood pressure, blood sugar, and inflammation markers in just 12 weeks. No calorie counting, just timing. The mechanism: when you stop eating, your body switches into a repair mode called autophagy. It starts cleaning up damaged cell parts. Think of it as your body's nightly housekeeping service. Practical tip: finish dinner by 7 p.m., don't eat again until 9 a.m. That's it. Step 2, eat 30 different plants per week. This sounds crazy, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do for your gut microbiome. The American Gut Project, a landmark study of over 10,000 people, found that people who ate 30-plus different plant species per week had dramatically more diverse gut bacteria than those who ate 10 or fewer. And your gut microbiome controls your immune system, your mood, your inflammation levels, and even how fast your skin ages. Practical tip: count herbs, spices, nuts, and seeds. A handful of mixed nuts equals 5 plants. Step 3. Use olive oil as your main fat. The Predimed trial, a gold standard randomized controlled trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2013, followed 7,447 people and found that extra virgin olive oil reduced cardiovascular events by 30%. Olive oil is loaded with oleocanthal, a compound that works like ibuprofen at the cellular level, reducing inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now called inflammaging. It's the single biggest driver of accelerated aging. Practical tip: 3 to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil per day. Drizzle it on everything. And step 4, ditch ultra-processed food. A 2019 study in the BMJ following 44,000 people found that every 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption was associated with a 14% higher risk of early death. These foods drive inflammation, spike insulin, and have now been shown to accelerate the shortening of your telomeres. Simple rule: if it has more than 5 ingredients and most of them are unpronounceable, put it down. Section 4. Pillar 2. Movement. Exercise is not optional if you want to age in reverse.
Step 5. Train your VO2 max. VO2 max is basically a measure of how well your heart, lungs, and muscles use oxygen during exercise. A massive 2018 study published in JAMA Network Open, involving 122,000 patients, found that having a low VO2 max was more dangerous than smoking, diabetes, or heart disease. The least fit group had 5 times the mortality risk of the most fit group. How do you improve it? Zone 2 cardio. That's the pace where you can just barely hold a conversation. 3 to 4 times a week, 30 to 45 minutes. Cycling, jogging, brisk walking. Step 6. Lift weights, twice a week minimum. After age 30, you lose 3 to 8% of muscle mass per decade. By 60, many people have lost 30% of their muscle. This is called sarcopenia, and it's directly linked to early death, falls, and cognitive decline. A Cochrane review of 121 studies found that progressive resistance training was one of the most effective interventions to prevent this. You don't need a gym. Bodyweight squats, push-ups, and resistance bands count. Step 7. Use a sauna. This one will surprise you. Researchers in Finland followed 2,315 middle-aged men for 20 years. People who used the sauna 4 to 7 times per week had a 40% lower all-cause mortality rate than those who went once a week. Published in JAMA Internal Medicine 2015. Sauna mimics moderate cardiovascular exercise. Your heart rate rises, blood vessels dilate, and your body produces heat shock proteins that protect and repair cellular structures. Even 2 to 3 times per week shows benefit. 15 to 20 minutes at 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Step 8. Walk 7,000 steps a day. Forget 10,000. That number was invented by a Japanese marketing campaign in 1965. A 2020 study in JAMA Internal Medicine found that 7,000 steps per day was the sweet spot where mortality risk dropped sharply, and going from 7,000 to 10,000 added very little extra benefit. Practical. Park further away, take stairs, walk during phone calls. Section 5. Pillar 3. Sleep. I'm going to be blunt. If you're sleeping less than 7 hours a night and you think you're fine, you're not. A meta-analysis of 16 studies covering 1.3 million people, published in the journal Sleep, found that sleeping under 6 hours per night was associated with a 12% higher risk of death than sleeping 7 to 9 hours.
Here's what's even more interesting. Your brain literally cleans itself while you sleep. In 2013, researchers at the University of Rochester published a landmark study in Science showing that during deep sleep, your glymphatic system, think of it as your brain's plumbing, flushes out toxic waste products, including amyloid beta, the protein that builds up in Alzheimer's disease. Sleep isn't rest. Sleep is maintenance. Step 9. Same bedtime every day, weekends included. Your circadian rhythm is a master controller of hundreds of genes involved in inflammation, metabolism, and DNA repair. Disrupting it even slightly, what researchers call social jet lag, accelerates aging. Step 10. Keep your bedroom cold, 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Your core body temperature needs to drop 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate deep sleep. A cooler room makes this happen faster. Simple hack: crack a window, use a lighter blanket. Step 11. No screens for 1 hour before bed. A Harvard study published in PNAS in 2015 found that reading on an iPad before bed suppressed melatonin by 55% compared to reading a physical book, and delayed deep sleep by 90 minutes. Step 6. Pillar 4. Stress and mind. Chronic stress is aging you faster than almost anything else, and this is not just psychological, it's biochemical. Dr. Alyssa Eppel at UCSF, working with Nobel Prize winner Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, published a study in PNAS in 2004 showing that women under chronic stress had telomeres the equivalent of 10 years older than low-stress women. Stress literally shortens the DNA in your cells. Step 12. Meditate for 10 minutes a day. Multiple studies show regular meditation increases telomerase, the enzyme that rebuilds telomeres. It also lowers cortisol, reduces inflammatory markers like IL-6, and physically changes the structure of your brain. You don't need an app. Sit down, focus on your breath for 10 minutes. That's it. Step 13. Invest in your relationships. Harvard's famous 80-year longevity study, the longest-running study of human happiness ever conducted, found that the quality of your relationships was the single strongest predictor of how well people aged. Not wealth, not status, relationships. A separate meta-analysis of 148 studies found that social isolation was as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Step 14. Spend time in nature. A Japanese study found that forest walking reduced cortisol by 12%, adrenaline by 27%, and significantly boosted natural killer cell activity, the immune cells that destroy cancer cells and viruses. 20 minutes in a park is enough to measurably change your stress hormones.
Before we get into this, I want to be clear. Supplements are the last 10%. They don't replace sleep, food, or movement. But for the right ones, the evidence is real. Step 15. Vitamin D3. Over 40% of Americans are deficient. Vitamin D is not just a vitamin, it functions like a hormone that regulates over 1,000 genes. The VITAL trial, a randomized controlled trial of 25,000 people funded by the NIH, found that D3 supplementation reduced cancer mortality by 17%. Get your blood level checked. Aim for 40 to 60 Ng per milliliter. Step 16. Omega-3 fatty acids, EPA plus DHA. The same VITAL trial found omega-3s reduced major cardiovascular events by 28%. A 2013 study by Dr. Keocold Glazer at Ohio State found that people with higher omega-3 levels had significantly longer telomeres. Aim for 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA plus DHA daily from fish oil or algae oil. Step 17. Magnesium. This is the quiet one. Over 50% of people in Western countries don't get enough. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions, including DNA repair, sleep quality, blood pressure, and insulin sensitivity. Magnesium glycinate at night is best tolerated and doubles as a sleep aid. Step 18. NMN or NR, boosting NAD+. NAD+ is a molecule inside every cell that powers energy production and DNA repair. It declines by roughly 50% between age 40 and 60. Animal studies are dramatic. Old mice given NMN had the muscle function and energy of young mice. Human trials are smaller but promising. The research here is early stage but credible, backed by David Sinclair at Harvard and Eric Verdin at the Buck Institute. Section 8. Pillar 6. Environment. Your environment is constantly aging you or protecting you. Let's make it work for you. Step 19. Reduce alcohol. This one is uncomfortable, but the evidence is now overwhelming. The Global Burden of Disease study, published in The Lancet in 2018, analyzed data from 195 countries and concluded the safest level of alcohol consumption is 0. Even moderate drinking accelerates brain aging, disrupts sleep architecture, and has been linked to telomere shortening. Step 21. Take cold showers. Cold exposure triggers a 300 to 500% spike in norepinephrine, a hormone that improves mood, focus, and metabolic function. It also activates brown adipose tissue, which burns fat for heat and has been linked to improved metabolic health. Start with 30 seconds cold at the end of your shower. Work up to 2 to 3 minutes. Step 22. Fix your air quality. A 2009 study in JAMA of 500,000 Americans found that people living in areas with high fine particle pollution, PM 2.5, died years earlier than those in clean air areas. If you live in a city, a HEPA air purifier in your bedroom is a genuine anti-aging investment. Okay, let's land this plane. Here's what the science is telling us in plain English. You are not a passive passenger in your body. Every single day, your habits are either telling your cells to age faster or telling them to slow down, repair, and regenerate. The research we've covered today comes from places like Harvard, Stanford, the NIH, the New England Journal of Medicine, and Nobel Prize-winning scientists. This is not wellness influencer content. This is biology. Let me give you the top 5 starting points, because if you try to do everything at once, you'll do nothing. 1. Eat in a time-restricted window.
Finish dinner by 7, don't eat until 9 a.m. That's your free autophagy activation every single night. 2. Do Zone 2 cardio 3 times per week. Walk fast, jog, cycle, 30 to 45 minutes where you can barely hold a conversation. This alone extends life more than almost any drug. 3. Sleep 7 to 9 hours in a cold, dark room. Your brain needs this time to literally clean itself. There's no supplement that replaces it. 4. Manage your stress. Not by eliminating it, but by building 10 minutes of daily quiet into your life. Meditation, prayer, breathing, whatever works for you. Your telomeres are watching. 5. Get your vitamin D, omega-3, and magnesium levels checked. The majority of people reading this are deficient in at least one of the 3. Fix it. That's your foundation. Everything else, the saunas, the NMN, the cold plunges, that's optimization. Start with the foundation. Now here's the thing about aging that no one tells you. The best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
A 2022 study published in Nature Aging found that even people who adopted healthy habits in their 50s and 60s showed measurable improvements in biological age markers within just 8 weeks. 8 weeks! So your biology is listening. The question is, what are you going to tell it? If you want the full 101-step breakdown, including all the research citations organized by category, I've linked it in the description below. And if you found this useful, share it with someone you care about, because the research on social connection says this counts as a health intervention too. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.